Okay, welcome to Clinical Traders. It's the 6th of May. No need for a disclaimer today because I'm not making any recommendations. However, we are going to take a look at what's happening in the world today and the impact that's having on markets. So I want to start with this. This is an article that came out, I think it was overnight, Sunday the 5th of the 5th. Anyway, it's official. The trade deal is dead. Dead. Okay. Well, it's a long story. I'm not going to go into it, but Trump was trying to get a better deal for America with China and put China into a corner, and it has now backfired. So Trump is now saying that the 10% tariff on goods imported into America will be rising to 25%. So you can expect, if you're an American, prices to go up by another 15% on some goods that are imported from China. It was initially $50 billion worth. And then Trump got real and he said, no, we're going to make it $200 billion. And then in December he said, no, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put things on hold because this is heating up too much and really pissing too many people off. Anyway, it was postponed. All talks were postponed until the end of February, and it was hoped that in that time there would be a deal struck that would work for both countries. It has not happened. We've gone over the deadline, and in fact we're, as I said, 6th of May, and we're a long way off it being done. And in fact, it's now since gone the other way, whereby Trump is saying, no, not 10% on $200 billion worth of imported goods, but instead it's going to be 25%. So, all you Americans out there, don't you go and buy Chinese products. Buy American-made products. Not only that, he's also said that in the future, $325 billion of additional goods would also be taxed. And what a threat. Typical Trump style. Anyway, you can read this article. This is Zero Hedge. If you go looking for it, you'll find it. But I'll just read this first line. So much for months and months of constant leaks, headlines, tweets, and press reports that the US-China trade talks are going great, as Trump would say. What a load of rubbish. This is it has been in the past. It's been propaganda and it's been lies. It hasn't happened. And this is the evidence right here. And I'll skip down here and we'll see here. In recent weeks, there has been multiple reports that a China-US deal was close. Well, if it's close, why would you raise tariffs to 25%, Mr. Trump? Why would you do that? What a load of rubbish. An agreement could come as soon as this Friday. So we'll know by Friday as to whether this deal's going to go ahead. Now, I have read reports, people, that the deal, this so-called deal, has been rejected by China. And China won't even attend meetings between now and Friday to discuss this, to take it further, to come to an agreement. No. China has given them the proverbial finger and said, forget that. We are not going to come to this party. Now, you can imagine that for markets, this is going to be somewhat concerning. So we'll look at a couple of charts and so forth. Now, before we do that, I will click over to Facebook feed page that I've been working on. You can see the date up here, 28th of February, and this is what happened. So zooming in, I won't actually talk about this, but basically at the time, at 28th of February, I thought there were two options. We roll over here, okay, or we continue higher, hit this previous top way over here, and it's important we note the date. So this is October, start of October, previous high, and from there, option B would be that we'd roll over and head lower. Well, we are here. Okay, we're right at that point here. So that's pretty concerning. Could we break through and go higher? Absolutely we could. It's possible. You know, these politicians will get out there and they'll find a way to convince us that everything's going to be fine and that we'll go higher. And we'll see what happens with that. So let's look at a couple of charts here. So the first one is what happened with our market today. Because earlier today I put out a post and I said that given the information that occurred over here with Trump, this could affect markets. And of course, what happened? We are currently down 1.6% on the day, okay? Which is a reasonably good move. It's enough to get people a bit bothered under the collar, but nothing too concerning. You can see that this has been the run. So to fall that far isn't really a big deal at this point. We'll wait and see what happens. However, what's concerning is what happened in China. This is the Shanghai index, okay? So you can see, what do we hit? 22nd of April here. It begins to roll over and then bang, this big down day. This is concerning. That size candle heading all the way down here is a bit of a concern. And what's also concerning is that it has resulted in a price lower than this support in the past. If you were to look at it, it's probably actually realistically somewhere up here, that support. But you must work on the extremities, so that's where I'm putting it. And you can see that we've plummeted behind that, below that. If you look at how far that's collapsed, it's 5.5%, which is a big move on a stock market. I think that's a bit of a red flag, and it's something that should have us a little bit bothered, a little bit worried. Because, you know, your super, also, it wouldn't really matter which type of fund you're in, whether it's balanced, defensive, aggressive, you will own some form of Chinese asset. And look what's happened. All right. So don't think that we're all immune. We're not all immune. And even the defensive plays would have some exposure to these type of assets. Okay. That's why I was recommending recently, like in the last month, that perhaps it's time to move to cash. And if you did that right now, you're sitting pretty happy. All right, let's look also. This is the E-mini Dow futures. So this the Dow closed on Friday. It's not trading right now, but this is a derivative that allows people to trade what might happen in the future. And you can see here that the trend is clearly down, currently down 1.98%. It was down a lot more. Sorry, not a lot more. It was down about 2.3% at its low. It's also interestingly come back and hit these previous highs. 1, 2, 3, well, 3, 4, 5 here. It's actually bounced off that. Pretty standard technical behavior. Breakout, return back to that previous support, and then take off. And I think a lot of traders would have been expecting this to keep going. At least to the top here, and probably beyond, given that the NASDAQ had already busted to the north and was headed higher. It had all of the signs that it was about to go much, much higher, and then bang, this happens. So talk about timing. What timing is that? All right? All right, the government knows where the tops are. They know when to make announcements to put things back in perspective. All right? It's exactly the reason why this announcement came out today. Well, sorry, yesterday. Okay, so look, it can happen. Old highs tend to act as resistance in the future, and that's exactly what's happened. Okay, so that's pretty concerning. All right, I'm probably going to leave that there. I did find this article interesting. Just to finish up, Chinese media. This is out today, 6th of May, 1341. Chinese media stay silent as Trump treats rock stocks. Okay, so maybe Twitter put this information out for everyone to see. Bloomberg picked up on it. The Financial Times picked up on it. All Western media picked up on it. Okay, and all of Western media were a bit freaked out by that information, that news. But if you're living in China, you don't hear any of that. And so the Chinese are sitting there thinking, okay, here we go, bull run, everything's looking good. And then out of the blue, this day happens without any explanation whatsoever from any of their media sources, their government, no one. And so the Chinese people are in the dark. They don't know what's going on. I find that quite extraordinary in this day and age. Okay, so that's from Bloomberg. By all means, go and check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, what was that down there? With 2 tweets, Trump shatters historic calm in global markets. Wow. And by the way, those tweets came out of the blue. It would have been no more than 3 days ago he was tweeting about how great this trade deal was going to be and how it was going to make America great again. That has turned out to be an absolute load of rubbish. We should ask ourselves, why were the tweets released then? Why not 2 weeks ago? Why not in another 2 weeks? I think there's some really interesting questions, worth watching, worth paying attention to, and let's keep our eyes on this as it unfolds. Thanks for listening. By all means, share, like, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And of course, spread the word. I'm here to help. It's been a pleasure.